Welcome back, everybody. Just wrapping up our conversation now, talking about miners and conditions that they're working in. All of this in the light of Sibanye Gold and those miners that have been trapped due to a power failure since Wednesday. Well, the breaking news this morning is that all of them have been rescued. They're above the surface. But if you missed our interview a bit earlier with some of the miners that were trapped underground, they were talking to us about the conditions, or talking to our reporter that's on the ground there, Ishmael Modiba. Some of them saying that they had no communication since Wednesday. They had absolutely no food. They only received water after midnight now, today, as in the early hours of this morning. It was the first time they got any water. There was no medical attention there for them, and it was a very stressful situation to be in. So those were just some of the reactions from a few of the miners that we managed to speak to. So we're discussing the issue of the mining conditions in South Africa here with Mamokgethi Molopyane, who of course is a labor analyst. What I want to ask you is, in terms of safety in mines, we've got this zero injury slogan that we wish to have in mines in South Africa, and yet let's talk about the statistics in mines as it stands right now. Last year, how did we fare in terms of mining deaths or casualties and injuries with miners at work?
I do not have the number at hand, but I remember the chamber issuing a statement that they've had far lesser deaths last year compared to the previous year.
So it is getting better.
It is getting better, but by global mining standards, we are still the leading country when it comes to mine deaths and injuries related to workers being in the mines. So that for South Africa, I think, is a serious crisis. I think, given the experience the country has in mining, and that we are not new in the industry, that we should have clear, implementable and easily replicable plans, and that are about rescuing workers, are about preventing mine accidents, are about preventing mine workers' death, because at the end of the day, it really bodes well for the industry. It has a terrible legacy. It's a legacy South Africa's mining industry cannot run away from. Nor can we suddenly have an amnesia and erase it. The terrible working conditions of mine workers, that is their reality then. It is still their reality now. And so I think if the mining industry of South Africa and companies, multinationals or local companies operating here, want to change that image, safety is one of the key features they're going to have to start with.
Indeed they have. And just on a final closing note, we cannot have a conversation like this when we talk about the conditions of miners without bringing Marikana into this. Miners lost their lives for the fight to change their circumstances, to make things better, to increase their salaries, make their living conditions better. We heard a wife standing there waiting for her husband, leaving her children for 2 days without food, without care, because she was concerned about her husband, who she thought was being communicated to but wasn't. Nothing has changed since Marikana, which was one of the most devastating pages in our history.
Yes, it seems so. Nothing has changed to an extent in terms of the working conditions, in terms of the life expectancy of mine workers. As we have seen, some of them have terminal illness because of the work. The silicosis case has been going on. In terms of the accrued illness that comes with the conditions of being a mine worker, a lot hasn't changed. Interestingly, just a couple of days away from now, we will be gathered at the mining in Durban, and one hopes always that key discussions is not only around investment, that where discussions are led by government ministries, Africa's government minister, emphasis is put on priority on mine workers' life, on safety, on better working conditions. It mustn't be, I think, for me, it's high time that it is no longer a gathering about just investment, but about the people. It must be about the mine workers. And often that is missing, by the way, Leanne, in that gathering. Mine workers themselves are missing in that, or unions are missing in any of their panels or sessions.
It's about how we can make more money, how we can increase the profits and the price of minerals. Mamokgethi Molopyane, we know the drill. Let's hope that things will change. But thank you for talking to us, Labour analyst, talking to us about safety in mines in South Africa, and particularly underground, which is what's under focus since what happened at Sibanye Gold. We're going to take a break. Stay tuned for the news. We've got some updates for you in that bulletin.